Hi, I'm James the Box Office Artist, and here's something really exciting that we are going to do, because what I'm going to draw before you is an actual, that's going to be published, comic book cover, okay? And this is for my friends at IDW Publishing, and this is for the series Transformers Till All Are One. Now, I've already laid this out and blue-lined it somewhat, and maybe if I put a hand here, you could kind of see the little sketch. So I kind of knew where that was going already, and I'll show you very quickly my mindsets. These were the quick layouts that I scribbled down. In fact, I could actually show you that pretty quickly here. Just a couple quick ideas. So I started sketching here, as you can see. The only instruction I got, now usually, sometimes I get a whole script and then I could try to figure out the best parts of those scripts. But in this particular case, they just told me we need a Starscream and we need him, to look smug, a little smirk here, and that's it. That's all they needed. Okay, so just they said it's a very Starscream centric issue. So he needs to be the focus of the cover. So I need something that's going to be eye-popping, that if they'll walk down the comic aisle, they're going to look at it and go, "Ooh, I want to pick up that issue." So that's what I did here. So I was trying to figure out, I wanted a big face, a big smug face. So that's what I did here. I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking about having like a half body or a full body here on the side. Now, usually when you have an 8.5 by 11 paper, you fold it in half, and that's usually good enough. That's usually the dimensions of a comic book paper. And over here, I was sketching out how I wanted Starscream kind of pose I wanted him to be in. It's very simple, hands on hips type pose. That's what I was going for here. So I brought that into the computer, which I will show you right now, okay? And then I tried to, fix it up a little bit more on the computer. And then I used that. I took that as a guide as I tried to lay it out on this Bristol board. Now, this is actually a bigger Bristol board than I'm used to. Usually, comic book size paper is 11 by 17. This is bigger. This is more like a double page spread. 2 comic book boards, mainly because my inking's not the cleanest in the world. So we know when we shrink it down even more, it will look even better. So that was my thinking behind this, and it will look good as a good piece. So I will go in this understanding that I will have a bit of it cut off. So what you can't see is because I'm zoomed in a little bit. There is more here to the side here. I understand that's going to get cut off, but it's nice for the original art, so we had that leeway. I also keep in mind that the actual title that the series has, it actually cuts off at the top, where it says Transformers Till All Are One, and then there's a black border around it. So there's parts of the top that will be completely covered by that. Also, I got to keep in mind that at the bottom, that they will actually have IDW's signature there, so I didn't want to put anything too significant down at the bottom, but this will be the core, the meat of the actual thing. So I actually went in and I sketched out what I did. As you can see here, I sketched out what I did in the layout, and now I'm ready to go. So this is just as far as I go for the sketch out phase, and now I'm going to go in here with my blue pencil, okay, and I'll try to darken the video. Now, I know for my recent videos I've been using red, but for this, because this is actual published work, I will be using blue, and I will go in and start really laying this out, and then I will be going straight to ink. So I'll probably take about an hour to tighten this up right now, tighten this drawing up of Starscream, and then I will go straight to ink. I don't have a lot of time for this, so I'm hoping I can finish the whole thing within 6 hours. That's what I'm hoping, and we will see how that goes. So let's get to it. Okay, so the designs I'm pretty much looking at for Starscream here is I'm looking at what my good friend Sarah I can't pronounce your last name, Sarah, but I believe she is the artist on this particular title here, and she does a fabulous job. So I do want to try to keep this consistent with what she is particularly doing, but then again adding my own flavor to it, right? So my Americanized style flavor. But that is one thing, like my rendering, I think that's one thing that separates me from all other Transformers artists out there is because of the rendering itself, the way I use my blacks and I use the way I shade things. Now, there's a girl named Kaizama who has a very similar inking style to me, which I found really refreshing to see. I'm like, yes, I'm not the only one when it comes to that particular inking style there. So in this particular image, the expression that Starscream is going to have, it's very important here. So like a smirk, like an evil type smirk. That's what I'm going for here. Okay, but I want it'd be one of those things where it won't be too technical. Everywhere else will be technical except for his face. So that's where I got to draw the line. Now, they'd probably give me a little bit of leeway, like I don't have to go 100% to what Sarah has done here, but I'm gonna add just little nicks and crannies here. But one thing that is very important is that I understand where all the lighting is gonna go. So I know if I, like for example, if I draw a little arrow here, I know the lighting will probably be going this way, which means all this would be in shadow, which is probably what I want anyway, because I want I want this chest piece to stand out more than anything else, right? So I gotta probably have that, and then have the lighting going this way on this particular face here. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, I forgot to press the record button, but I went in and I started blue lining this all. Okay. So as you can see here, nothing too crazy. I just went in and just tried to add little details. Again, what Sarah did. Now this is a little bit tighter than I usually do things, and mainly because this is my first cover back in quite a while. So just so you guys can see. Now I'm just focusing on one specific part. I'll do the legs a little bit later, probably near the end. But I'm gonna focus on this. So I got it at the point where I probably feel confident enough to actually go in and start inking this thing, because what I want to do is make decisions on the fly. Okay, I don't just want to put every single line that I could put on here, because that's not fun for me. That's not as fun as it would be, right? So, okay, so just to show you guys what tools I'm going to be using to ink. First of all, one here, you see me use this a lot. This is something called a French curve. You could get this pretty much any art store. They have this. I will be using this a lot. Honestly, for a lot of this stuff. Unless it's a line that's extremely long. I like using the French curve because it just adds a little bit more to my technical lines. Okay, the pens I'm going to be using, pretty much microns. I'm going to start off with a 01 and just see how it feels. Mainly because I'm bigger, I could probably get away with using bigger markers, and they will actually shrink better. 1 might disappear, but I call this like penciling with the ink pen. These are things I would do if I was actually reading comics and it was just a penciler. It's something I would do with a pencil, but I'm going to be doing it with an actual ink pen, right? But usually I use microns. For the most part, last 6, 7, 8 months, I've been just using microns exclusively. Sometimes I use Prismacolors or Staedtlers, but microns, for the value I get per pen, they're probably the best. So I've gone through a few of these, and of course I got Sharpies, which I use, which I know isn't ideal, but they work for me. I also have a circle template that I also get here. This is a Picket circle template, okay? And I also got a one for the other type of ellipses. Now, this is my broken one. I have a new one. I just can't find it. I think my kids were playing with it again. So I'll use my broken one for now, which shouldn't matter too much because the ellipses I need, they're not broken. So I think, like, for example, this is the ellipse I need for this. But yeah, so these are my main tools. So I'm going to get to it right now. I'm actually going to brighten up the camera a little bit so you guys could see. And we are going to get going on the actual inking. So I'm going to start with the 01. And when I'm done with the 01, I'm going to stop and I'll show you where I'm going to add like little details and stuff. Okay, so let's get to it. Okay, so I started laying out a lot of the ink for this, and you can see that here. The tape on my table's not strong, that's why it's going back and forth a little bit. So now I'm going to go in with a Sharpie and start laying out all the blacks, mainly because some of the finer details I'm going to add later. What's called, they might be covered by black altogether. So I'm just gonna go ahead with the lighting, okay, and figure out where this lighting's gonna go. And once I figure that out, then I'm gonna add a little bit more finesse to the actual line work itself. Again, the great thing about working this big is I don't have to worry too much about how how smooth the lines are, because when I shrink it, for the most part, it's gonna work. For the most, it's going to work. So that's the one advantage of drawing like pretty much double the size that like normally you would in these type of situations. So I'm going to go in with the Sharpie, probably the small Sharpie and a thicker Sharpie, a thicker marker here. So either thicker Sharpie and a smaller Sharpie, and we will do that. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to be working on this giant Starscream face, which is right here. For the most part, the Starscream here, it's okay. It's okay, again, because it's big. That's the saving grace of this whole thing. It's because it's big, and then when you shrink it down, it's way more impressive. That's the reason I did it this way in the first place. It really cleans up my poor line work. Worst comes to worst, just draw a little bit bigger, and you should be okay. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm actually, because I'm already okay with how I sketched this out, as you can see here. If I go like this, you can see how I sketched it out, and I'm actually okay with that. So I think I'm just gonna go straight to ink, get the facial features down, and then use rulers for this, and we're almost there. We're pretty much almost done. So yeah, not the hardest cover in the world. It's just a very simple, Starscream cover here. So we'll hope they like it. We'll hope they like it. So we'll see. Okay, so I blacked in all the blacks here for the most part, and looking at it in the screen here, it looks pretty cool, which is pretty cool. You look at it, the original art, and it's okay, but it's one of those things where those people, they will see the cover and they'll think it's cool, and then when they see the actual artwork, they're like, oh, it's twice the size? Wow. That's what I'm hoping anyway. So if the cover is out already, if the cover has been shown, either maybe it's been shown in previews already by the time you are watching this, so I'm filming this way back in May, so I'm not exactly sure when you guys are seeing this, but with that, you see it right here. This is where I ended off, and right now I'm going to show you how it finished off. And this is the final cover for this issue, and it was a lot of fun to do. Okay, it is actually June now, almost July, and I have in my hands here a copy of Transformers Still All Are One. Hot Press is not even in stores yet, but that is the cover. That is how it looks. Maybe I'll close up on it so you can take a proper look at it. But you can also see how it turned out compared to how I actually planned it out. And I actually planned it out that the top would be blacked out like most of the covers, but for some reason this one didn't. And I wasn't expecting to see this much legs here. I was expecting this to be cropped. So now, for me, this kind of looks weird. Or else I should have drawn all the legs. They might say, James is lazy, draws all the legs. But I think it still looks pretty cool. And the colorist, his name is John Paul Bove. He did a fantastic job. So thank you, John Paul. Looks pretty cool. And I couldn't be happier with it. And here's the size comparison. Look at this. Look at the difference in size here. Compared, that's the original art, compared to the issue. So thank you to John, thank you to Carlos, and thank you to IDW for allowing me to do my first cover in quite a while, quite a long time, and I really do appreciate it. So that is the making of a comic book cover, and I hope you guys enjoyed the process. I hope you learned something. Again, this is a pretty simple standard cover, but I hope at the end of the day it will catch someone's eye and make them want to pick up the book at the end of the day. So that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions at all, please do let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Follow me on all social media. And my name is James. I'm the box office artist. I'm here to say keep drawing, and I'll see you all next time.